Welcome again to the final series in Food 2016, and this is video number 8. And what we're going to chat about today is probably the most powerful aspect of any of the other aspects that we've chatted about. Let's just first of all review the 6 steps that we've been talking about in this video series. Of course, step 1 is eating the right food. Step 2 is stopping eating the wrong foods. Step 3 is drinking water. Step 4 is exercise. And step 5 is giving your body a break. And then step 6, which is today's topic, is adding nutritional density. And most people aren't really familiar with this concept of nutritional density. So, and I know I wasn't, and it took me a while to kind of wrap my brain around what this means. But if you can understand what this means, this is like giving your body automatic willpower. It's really extraordinary. If you looked at any of the foods that I said you should be eating, or the foods that I recommended that you avoid eating, or you looked at the water or the exercise or the rest, and you just thought, that's all great in theory, but I just can't possibly do it. What I'm about to share with you now is going to enable you to do all of those other steps. And it might not be all of them right away, but it certainly will enable you to do at least one of them easily, very quickly. And then ultimately, as one becomes easier, your body is going to change if you focus on nutritional density in a way that will allow you to do the other 5. And wouldn't you agree with me that if you could be doing all of these steps, your health would be experiencing radical improvement? So let me share a concept with you first of all. Let me ask you a question. Is your produce that you're eating experiencing jet lag? Let's just assume that you're one of the 10 percenters who actually gets around to eating produce every day. The produce that you're eating just isn't what it used to be. First of all, almost 40% of the fruits we eat and about 12% of the veggies come from other countries, and that's just far away. And the challenge with having food travel that far is that it loses a lot of its nutrients in a very short period of time, loses almost half of its nutrients within about 5 days of harvesting. Most produce that you're getting at the store was harvested weeks, if not months ago. So for example, apples, let's just take apples. I am making this video in August, and any apple that's from the United States that's in the market now in August had to have been picked last fall, and it's been in a cold storage fridge over however many months that is, almost 11 months. Now, if it's not from the United States, it's probably coming from New Zealand or Australia or one of the other apple producing countries in the southern hemisphere, which means that it was picked at least a week ago, put on a plane, and flown. So we've got the dynamic either way where the produce was picked a long time ago. And if you just take a look at how far our produce travels before it actually reaches your plate, the distances are quite daunting. I mean, lettuce is over 2,000 miles, spinach is over 2,000 miles, grapes and cauliflower are all over 2,000 miles. So that travel distance alone, even on an airplane, just adds days to the time it takes to go from being harvested to being in your grocery store. And then you buy it, you bring it home, and you don't necessarily eat it right away. It may hang around with you in your fridge for another couple of days, which further degrades the nutrient content. I also want to talk about this concept of nutrient density from just a common sense perspective. Ask yourself this: in a given square foot of soil, how many nutrients are in that soil? Now, obviously, we can add fertilizers and things like that, but the actual nutrients that get into our body, that our body uses, are much more diverse and complicated than just NPK, which is what they're throwing on the soil to make the plants grow quickly. So if you have a finite amount of nutrients in 1 square foot of soil, what happens when you double the number of plants in that 1 square foot of soil? Think about this. Instead of 1 carrot in a square foot, you've got 2 carrots. There's only so much nutrition in that square foot of soil, and it's pretty much going to be equally divided by those 2 carrots as opposed to all being absorbed by 1 carrot in that same space. So effectively, you've got 2 carrots, but each of the carrots have half the nutrition that it would have if it were only 1 carrot in that square foot. And here's what happens. When we focus on higher yields, which is growing 2 carrots in that square foot as opposed to 1 carrot, you have lower nutrient content per carrot. And I'm just going to keep using the carrot analogy. When you look at corn, same thing. You know, if you have an acre of corn and you have X number of corn stalks, and each stalk produces on average, say, 6 ears of corn, if you focus on increasing the yield, so instead of 6 ears, it produces 10 ears, the plant isn't capable of extracting any more nutrients from the soil than the soil has. And so you've just got less nutrient dense pieces of produce from the same square area. So you've got a higher yield, but a lower nutrient content. Then we process our food, and that reduces the nutrients. And then what happens is when you eat food that is lower in nutrient density, you need to eat more food because your body knows what it needs in terms of nutrient density. So these are some of the things that happen when you have low nutrient density. And this isn't talked about very frequently, but a lot of times, if you think about this in terms of how you feel, you'll eat a meal, you'll be full, but you'll still be hungry. So you overeat. You know, you can tell that you're full, but your body is telling you you're still hungry. What your body's looking for is it's looking for nutrients. And if it takes 2 ears of corn to create the same nutrient density that it took 1 ear of corn before, then if it takes 2 carrots to create the same nutrient density that it took 1 carrot before, you're going to eat twice as much. You're going to overeat. Also, you'll have cravings. When you don't have good nutrient density in your diet, your body keeps telling you, you need something, you need something, you need something. You don't really know what you need, but you need something. So you'll be full, you'll have just eaten dinner, and you'll still find yourself rummaging in the cupboards. You can experience nutritional deficiencies, and they're not huge like scurvy or something like that, but they're just little, where your fingernails are weak or your skin seems more prone to issues, or you have just sort of this subclinical issue with your digestive system, or you're tired all the time. You can also have immune disorders show up, and they can be subtle or they can be extreme. You'll have asthma and allergies show up where your body just doesn't have the nutrients it needs to fight off certain things. And then this whole layer of subclinical chronic disorders where you're just not feeling right, but you're not really sure what's going wrong. And these are what people experience when they don't have enough nutritional density in their diet. So let me repeat the six simple steps again. You're going to eat the right food. You're going to stop eating the wrong food. You're going to drink water and exercise and give your body a break. And then you're going to add nutritional density. And if what I've just shared with you about nutritional density isn't enough of a motivation for you, look at this next slide and think about this. If you don't have the tools and the strategy that you need, given where you are right now, which side of this picture is going to win? The donuts or the whole food? Now, I know right now, even eating as well as I'm eating, I would still look at the donuts and go, wow, those look great. I would love to have one. Now, I know I won't feel very well after I eat one because my body's really used to healthy food right now. So if I eat something that's junky, tastes great, but then about 15, 20 minutes later, I suddenly feel, well, what I've eaten. But that wasn't my reality 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I would eat a blueberry and a walnut and a kiwi, and I would feel like I hadn't eaten anything. My body was so chemically dependent on the processed foods that I didn't get any satisfaction from eating the real foods. So in order to make this shift to healthier food, you've got to have something in your court helping you, in your corner helping you make this, because otherwise the deck really is stacked against you. And another concept too is time. You know, a lot of times people are challenged with time. And I remember watching the Jetsons. I don't know if you remember the Jetsons, but they would come home and then they would go to their computer and then they would just put into the computer what they wanted to eat. And I thought that would be perfect. That would really solve it for me. I wouldn't have to think anymore. And I know that a lot of people feel this. And I'm going to share a couple of tools with you that aren't the Jetsons, but they're kind of the next best thing. So the three tools I want to go over that I really have implemented and incorporated into our family's routine, and I've helped a lot of people, thousands of people, add them to their routine, and they've found that they've been huge in terms of helping make this shift to get the body going in the right direction, are very basic. The first one is encapsulated produce, and this is going to give you concentrated nutrition from produce. The second one is a whole food snack and a meal that you can take anywhere or have anywhere. I call it fast food on the go. And then the third the third tool is a way to grow your own produce, which really is as local as it gets. You know, you will know where your food's coming from. You'll know it's fresh. You'll know it's ripe. You'll know it's fully grown and it's not nutritionally lacking. It's quite dense. The best part about all of these tools is every one of them costs less than one of these a day. You go to Starbucks, that's an easy $4. You get a glass of wine, that's $8. You get a Subway sandwich, that's $6. So, all of these each cost less than that every day. And none of these three things I have pictured here, the Starbucks or the wine or the Subway sandwich, are going to be giving you nutritional density and giving you the tools that your body needs to be getting on the track of better health. Now, that's not to say you never eat this stuff, because we all do, but it's just, I want you to understand that it's not going to take a lot out of your budget to be doing something really good for yourself. So let's look at the first tool, fruits, veggies, and berries in a capsule. If you take a look at this list, this is an amazing list of produce. I mean, I don't know when the last time was that I actually ate black currant. I know it's good for me, but when was the last time I ate it? I mean, that's the thing about these fruits, veggies, and berries and capsules, is you are getting the nutrients, the micronutrients from each of these types of produce in your diet every single day. And the other part about them that's amazing is that they're supported by phenomenal, I mean world-class research showing that when you eat the produce in this form on a daily basis, some critical things happen to improve your body's nutritional status. Your immune system is brought into balance, your heart health is improved, you'll have healthier skin, healthier gums. Adding these to your diet, adding these capsules to your diet reduces systemic inflammation, which addresses just a whole host of different issues. Adding these to your diet reduces oxidative damage, and that is really what aging is all about. Aging is oxidation, and oxidation is aging, and if you can slow down that oxidative damage, you're really going to be slowing down that aging process. And then lastly, we know that adding these to your diet repairs DNA, and I shared with you at the beginning what got my attention on this journey and got this journey started was my father having cancer, and I really learned that I wanted to do everything I could to keep my DNA clean every day. Very challenging to do, and this was a tool that scientifically was proven that if you could incorporate it in your diet on a daily basis, the new cells that your body is making have less DNA damage than the pre-existing cells, and that excited me. Now, you don't wake up in the morning and feel that your DNA is cleaner, but long term, in terms of prevention, I knew having something in my diet every day that was doing that was going to reduce my risk, and that excited me. The next tool that we have is our shakes, our smoothie mix, and our bars. And what I love about both of these is that these are willpower to go. You can have these in your bag, you can have them in the car, you can have them anywhere you go, with you when you fly, with you when you drive, with you when you visit people. If you know you're going to be in a situation where you're going to be tempted by the wrong stuff, you can have these with you and have some of them before you go into that barbecue where, you're just going to be just daunted by all of these other foods you don't want to eat. The other part about this is I travel quite a lot, and the challenge when you travel is finding healthy food on the go, finding stuff where you can just swing in and get something quick. So I have these with me all the time so that I'm never stuck without good food again. They just make a huge difference for me on that front. And then the third tool is our vertical aeroponic gardens, and we grow 2 of these. I think I shared with you we live on our sailboat, and we have these on the dock, so I grow all my own greens, and they're absolutely phenomenal. I'm not a gardener, and so what I needed in order to be a gardener was I needed something that fit these categories: self-watering, self-feeding. It didn't have any soil, and it didn't require any weeding. These honestly take less than 10 minutes a week. It's all water-based, it's aeroponics, so you don't have to know anything other than put the food in, put the water in, check the pH once a week, and you're good to go. And what I really like about these is that they are a money machine. Our gardens grow on average about $1,400 worth of organic produce every 6 months. And since I was going and buying a lot of organic produce, it really became important to me to have it be fresh, to know where it came from, and then not to have the waste. I think what really drove me to gardening this way was that I got so tired of going to the market, spending $6 on some spinach, bringing it home, putting it in the fridge, and if I didn't eat it right away, 2 or 3 days would go by, and then I'd go, oh my gosh, I got this spinach, and I'd pull the bag out, and it was just this black liquidy slop that I ended up throwing away. I have thrown away so many hundreds of dollars worth of produce that this just made sense to me. So those are 3 tools that I've incorporated, and I would encourage you to incorporate as well, and just see if they will help you jumpstart that nutritional density. Because in the final analysis, what I really learned was that I had a choice. My DNA was not my destiny. My dad had cancer, and I am, just really that was my pivotal point of change for me. I thought cancer was a genetic disease. And what I was taught during his illness was that yes, there's a genetic component, but there's so much that we can personally control. And there's this whole field of study right now out there called epigenetics, which is really looking at how the choices that you make can change your genetic expression and the genetic expression of your kids. So I hope that you find that concept empowering. I know that I certainly did. I went from being at a place of being in fear to being in a place where I realized, you know what, I've got this. I can make these changes. And the changes that I've shared with you over this series are very simple. Give yourself time. Remember, this is a marathon, it's not a sprint. But remember, you have a choice. You can implement something right now that will start you down a more positive path. I'm happy to coach you personally one-on-one through this journey. So please reach out to me and ask me questions. And if you would like any information about the tools that I personally use, the encapsulated produce, the healthy fast food, and the garden, I'd be more than happy to get you some information about that. But definitely contact me. Let me know what your thoughts are and what your questions are. And I look forward to hearing from you, because I think that if you will take this to heart, you will feel so much better about your future. And if you can do one step at a time, I know that it will have a profound impact on your health down the road. So join me on this journey. It's been a fabulous journey for me. I hope that you've found it inspiring and helpful, and I look forward to hearing from you.